It says it's starting. We'll see. Oh, yep, now we're live.
There it is.
Okay, hello everybody. Tonight I am with the lovely Nia, and we're going to talk about a few subjects: being a mom, mental health, and obviously the carnivore diet. And what did we talk about before? Oh, addictions. Yeah, that's the name of the show tonight. So, Nia, I first heard your story like a year and a half ago, even maybe it was a year ago, about how you had resolved anxiety issues and various other issues, like even skin issues. That's similar. I've resolved skin issues also. But do you want to give like a quick rundown of like the mental health aspect, how eating this way has helped you with that?
Sure. Yeah. And I'm glad to be hanging out with you and sort of
Yeah.
meeting for the first time today. This is fun.
Yeah.
I've
Thank
been seeing
you.
your videos pop, I watch your videos and they pop up all the time, and then you reached out to me and
Aw.
said, "Yay." So we're finally making this happen. So,
Aw, I love
um,
that.
yeah. So yeah, for anybody who's not seen my super long 45-minute health journey video, my issues started a long time ago. The main thing was chronic digestive problems. That was the first thing I noticed in my late teens, to
Oh,
be
wow.
something that was not right. And then so that was really the focus of my interest in learning about diet and natural nutrition and the ways that I could naturally heal or get better from that. But as the years went on throughout my 20s, um, other things started to sort of pile on. I had issues with my skin, psoriasis and eczema, but mainly psoriasis. I would get kind of random flare ups. From like one or two spots on my skin to, at one point, my entire body was covered in like leopard spots. Basically, it was
Oh,
cutate
wow.
psoriasis. And and then there were these sort of mental health aspects that I didn't necessarily know to what extent they were affecting me until I went through this process of elimination. Essentially went from plant-based theory and practice to animal-based ancestral nutrition, and then over years I cut out different things until I eventually eliminated down to meat and realized that that was the only safe food for me digestion wise. And so I did like a round one with carnivore, and that's when I really noticed that I had way less anxiety, I had way less brain fog, I had way less just apathy. So I would sort of swing back and forth between periods of, I wouldn't technically call it depression, maybe somebody else might, but it was just more of a feeling of being numb, sort of being flatlined, like nothing would really excite me, or I would look at things or like activities that, like, this is something I know that I'm interested in and it should excite me, I should want to go do this, but I just couldn't really get the motivation to do it. Nothing really seemed like worth doing, sort of a thing. And then I also had like pretty bad social anxiety and just sort of general anxiety too. So like
Oh,
even
wow.
going to places like Walmart would like stress me out. I would literally, we're gonna talk about alcohol and all that stuff, but like I would drink
Sure.
before I would go to Walmart or something like
Oh,
that, because it was
wow.
just like, who, like, people are looking at me and they're judging me, and like this just very intense like fear of crowds, fear of being in very public places, fear of even going to like a party where I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
It would just be like I would try to avoid most of that stuff. Um, and part of it was because of the digestive problems, right? Where it's like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if I was, anytime I would eat something, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like, was I going to end up with, you know, a sort of debilitating, what I would call an attack, where it's like I'm in the bathroom for 3 hours, like I can't
Oh,
leave,
wow.
like, so part of the anxiety was just around that aspect of it. But I think it really was its own animal in another respect. And so um that was something that, when I first, finally cut out the last bit of plants from my diet, I noticed that was the only time that I had actually felt uh what I realize is normal now for me,
Mm-hmm.
or is who I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then that all changed when I got pregnant, because I had meat aversion, I had vegetable, but like everything was
Oh, wow.
nasty and gross, and I really couldn't keep much of anything down for months and months. And so I just sort of like did what I could do and got through it. I mean, I ate animal products, but I also ate some grains and essentially very low fiber because at that point I realized like fiber was the ultimate, enemy for me and for digestion wise. Um, and then after I gave birth, I
Mhm.
struggled to sort of get back to low carb. And I let the alcohol kind of come back in. We were going through a lot of stress. Our baby was born in March of 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And
Oh
so it was
yeah.
just like a lot of moving, a lot of sort of chaos as like not an uncertainty, not knowing, where we were going to be, what's happening. And so I definitely let that come back in as a coping strategy. Um, and then I got to the point where I sort of hit that rock bottom health wise again, where I just felt like my hormones flatlined, like I was dealing with extreme fatigue. Um, I was getting like really emotional, like very like the one pin drop would like send me into like I would just feel this rage, like
Mhm.
just anger or just like fits of emotion sort of, and I was struggling
Mhm.
to kind of control that and drinking a pot and a half of coffee a day and it wasn't even touching my fatigue, and so
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, I can't like I know what works. I have to go back to carnivore and I have to quit drinking because I know that that's not helping me. I mean, it's helping me in the moment, but it's not
Right.
helping me be a good mom and be, like be the person that I know I need to be. And obviously my body's rebelling against what I'm doing right now. And so I started again this last July. So it's been almost a full year carnivore this time, and I've been sort of a slow healer this round. Like I went into it anticipating that I was gonna sort of have the same situation as I did last time, where it was like within 30 to 60 days, I felt like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm good, and everything
Yeah.
cleared up. But it's been a lot slower. And I think it's because of a hormone problem. And I think it's because I was
Sure.
eating more processed foods and all that stuff. So, but I'm in a great place now. And I feel like I've overcome, that addiction in terms of alcohol and also in caffeine. I don't ingest any caffeine anymore. And
Great.
so, yeah, I'm feeling like I'm in a great place now.
That's awesome. That's pretty incredible. You mentioned about the IBS. I keep thinking like there's so many similarities. Now, I wasn't diagnosed with IBS, but I definitely had like so many gut issues. And I watched an interview from Dr. Berg of this guy Tristan Haggard. Have you heard of him? He's a carnivore who lives in Ecuador. Anyways, he got a big YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, I
He
do. Yep.
doesn't just talk about carnivore. He's like kind of political also, but he talked about these gut issues being resolved from carnivore. And so that piqued my interest to start researching, even though I'd heard about carnivore like 5 years ago. And I thought it was like not for me because I needed to eat salads, not
Yeah.
realizing that it was the salads causing the problems with my gut. Probably other stuff too, but definitely the salads were a big factor. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Like if you I understand like the random emotions and like your hormones being off because I here we go talking about my period again. I didn't have a period like for it was like 2 or 3 years or something, and I forced it back naturally through seeds and oils. Kind of weird, but it worked. But I didn't have a period, and I was very emotional. Like my emotions were totally crazy, and then when I got my period back, I'm like, it was a calmness. So I think if your hormones are totally screwed up, you're going to feel out of whack. And then eating this way, when I finally found eating this way and then actually started, I felt even better, like even more calm. So it's just interesting that you say that because I totally understand that. I understand the gut issues, and just feeling like stress or like worry. It's so annoying to have that in your
Mhm.
mind. And I think that with what you're saying, I can't compare myself to you because I'm not in your body, I'm not in your mind, but we're similar. And I can't compare myself to other people, but I think other people I've heard from people I've talked to have had it way worse. And then they're on these medications that are like mind altering medications that make them feel
Yes.
numb or they just
Yes.
shut off all their emotions. And so that's not the solution either. And like we were saying before, the solution is incredibly simple,
Yeah.
incredibly simple.
It's
Like,
maddeningly simple.
yeah, it's like stop eating garbage, stop
Mhm.
drinking, stop smoking the weed, stop doing the drugs. Like just do the natural. I like this guy's handle. So stink ass cat says, Nia
Yeah.
mentioned the anxiety around people. I always thought I was a weird kid or that I had manic depression. Yeah. How is that now, stink ass cat? Is that better? Are you following a carnivore diet? Oh, so I'm curious. And also, if anyone has any questions, please tell us. But me and I, we're going to keep chatting. And there you go. And Papa Carnivore is here. Hello. And Papa
Hey.
Carnivore, you need to be on the 20 July live stream. The 20 July live stream about the diabetes. Okay, there you go. So, how do you feel getting yourself in order, not drinking anymore? Okay. Let's talk about that for a second, because you were mentioning that you would right before when we were talking, and it's great to talk before, but then afterwards we're like, oh, we already talked about that. But
Yeah.
um,
Not in front of
you
everyone.
were saying that like drinking was like a bit of an addiction for you. Can you go over that and then like how your life has changed from getting alcohol out of your system?
Yeah. And that's also kind of a long story, but so really, like, I didn't really drink in high school. I didn't do a whole lot of anything until I got out on my own, for the most part. And so I didn't really even start drinking until I was like 20 or 21. Um,
Okay.
like with any kind of I think I had, I don't know, my first drink, like 18 or 19 or whatever. But and I started working in restaurants. And so that was really where I sort of got introduced to the culture, for lack of a better word, of drinking a lot and sort of that partying sort of lifestyle. And so I waited tables and I became a bartender. And so that was just and then with the schedule the way it is, like you work till 3 4 in the morning a lot of nights, and nobody else is up at that time, and you're getting off work.
Right.
What do? You all sit around and have some drinks and then go to bed, and you stay up till the sun rises, and then you go to sleep during the day and then get up
Oh
at
wow.
4 and do it all again, kind of a thing. And so that was definitely a factor, like just the way my lifestyle was, the way my job was an influence. But like I said, I had this anxiety around people. I was, you know, pretty shy, very much an introvert. And I think I am truly an introvert, but I don't think that what I thought an introvert was back then is actually, the version of introverted that I am. It's not like I don't need to be afraid of everybody, or be
Hmm.
super uncomfortable around people. It's just I need lots of solo time to recharge. Like that's where I get my energy versus being out and about kind of tends to drain me.
Mm.
So I guess I was noticing that dynamic where I was in this very social environment, a very extroverted job,
Hmm.
and so I just started kind of drinking more and more to lower that anxiety level that I had around, just sitting around and talking and being myself around other people. And then so like that was a factor, and then as the things with my digestion continued to get worse, at that around that time I was looking into plant-based eating and, more fiber, more water, more walking around more. Like that's the advice that you get to kind of deal with this stuff. And so which was backfiring, and I was feeling sick all the time and having all these problems. So like I
Oh
also
wow.
used alcohol to numb physical pain, so and emotional pain. And so it was like a
Hmm.
threefold fat, several different factors that sort of locked me into that habit. And as the years went on, again, like that's just what everybody around me was doing. And so I felt like this is normal. I'm just living this lifestyle, just like everybody else. It didn't really seem like a problem. But there were signs that it was a problem throughout my life. And
Hmm.
I didn't want to look at those things at the time. I didn't want to admit that I was using this for those reasons, even though in my mind
Hmm.
I knew what I was doing. Um, and so I didn't really do much about it. And it also helped me fast, which is kind of weird to say, but like, cause the only time my digestion felt good is when I didn't eat. And so I would try to like
Mm.
not eat for several days. And so I would get into alcohol and drugs and certain things, sometimes just to
Hmm.
like facilitate that. Um, and there were, just general partying, and then like, oh, this actually helps me feel better,
Right.
which is sort of messed up to say, but at the time it was this band-aid. And so that obviously doesn't last forever and it's not the real solution. And so, um, I basically it was when I got pregnant when I was like, okay, I can't
Mm.
drink anymore.
Mhm.
I had been on carnivore for 11 months and I was feeling like everything I had that I felt like was wrong with me had gone into remission on carnivore, even though I was still drinking alcohol.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, my digestion was perfect. I had no more bloating, no pain, no gas, no weird stool. It was like normal stool. Anxiety went away. Brain fog went away. I was like the fastest mentally I'd ever been. I lost weight. Like, I lost a lot of just bloated inflammation,
Mhm.
water. I was working
Right.
out. Like, I was doing a lot of things right, doing a lot of yoga out in the sun, like, really doing a lot right, but I still had that. I was still drinking a lot of vodka. And so, I had gone to the one extreme where it was like the diet was right, but the alcohol was involved. And then when I got pregnant,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, take the alcohol out, take the coffee out, take out, all that. But then
Mhm.
I couldn't stick to the diet because
Mhm.
I realized at that point, like that was a juncture where I was like, alcohol was the last thing that I was holding on to because I was using it for emotional reasons. And so I let the food come back in when I was pregnant to cope with my emotions since I didn't have the other thing, you know? And so
Okay.
it was like, that's when I really realized I have to face this. And then after I gave birth and it was like a struggle to get off the food, and then I let the alcohol come back in because
Mhm.
it was super stressful time, a lot of
Right.
change, a lot of uncertainty. And so then I just kind of got into this place where I'm like, I'm a mess, and I can't be like this. I can't be a good mother. I can't be a good partner. I can't make, good decisions from this
Right.
place. And so here I am now. I hope that answered the question. That was a super long ramble, but
No, that's all right. So now do you feel like you've handled those things by, you got your diet in order, you're not drinking. How do you feel it's helped you as to be a mom?
it's it's made me feel it's the biggest thing is that I feel like I'm in control now. And that's what I
Awesome.
really didn't like was I didn't feel I
Mm,
had worked so hard to get my diet right. I had, done this process by myself essentially with basically no help or guidance from any professionals or anybody else. Um, to figure this diet thing out. And so I was in control of that, but I was still letting this other thing, whether it was alcohol or without the alcohol, it would be food,
mhm.
control me. And I just got really tired of it. And then I was feeling terrible, physically. And I thought, I don't want my kid to see me like this. I
Right.
don't want her to look up to me and think that this is what she should be
Mhm.
or this is what she should model. And so,
Mm, right.
that was really the fire that was like, I need to show her how to break free from something,
Oh, great.
that's controlling you.
That's awesome. I never thought of it that way, but um I had the gut issues, and like I would be in pain. I would be like middle of working and then have to run to the bathroom, or luckily I work from home. So I would have easy access to the
Yeah,
bathroom, or
but
I would like, it's annoying. You like all of a sudden your
still
like
sucks.
stomach hurts. You have to go lie down. I'm like, I can't. I'm literally emailing my boss. I don't feel good. I'll be back in an hour. Like that's totally unprofessional, by the way, but it happens. It happened. I will get my work done today, but I can't be at my computer right now. Like sucks. That sucks. And then I just remember so many times, and it's not 100% of the time, but like I would feel so tired, and then I would like leave my office. I would go the 4 feet to the couch and I would just sit and watch like Disney Plus or whatever with my kids. And this is like terrible. Like that's not like a great impression that you want to show your kids. And this was like a year ago. So they were like 6 and 5. Not that we didn't never went outside and did stuff together, but I feel
Right.
like that was often what was happening. And I would make popcorn, and popcorn is like my Achilles heel, by the way. I keep saying that I love popcorn so much, my popcorn that I make at home. So we would like sit and eat buckets of popcorn. That didn't help anything. So, anyways, 3 days into eating this way, I was like, oh my gosh, let's go to the park. We literally have a park outside. We live at this beautiful apartment complex with a pool. Let's go to the pool. It's beautiful every day. Let's go to the pool. Let's go to the park. And that was just like a huge mental shift. Like, wait, I can do this. Like, I had the energy. I feel amazing. Like, let's not stay in the house. Let's get out of this little apartment and go do something fun. So, yeah, I didn't think of it as like showing my kids a bad example at the time, but thinking back, yeah, that's a terrible example to just be like a miserable looking couch potato. I'm being overly mean to myself right now, but I'm just trying to say, like, okay, you're not working. I'm so tired. Like, how many times do your kids want to hear you say that? They probably don't want to hear you say
Right.
that.
Right. No, I was the same way. I was like, just scraping by to like do the housework and to do something with my kid every day. And it was just like, yeah, just chugging coffee and like it wasn't even working. And, and then I would have to have my 2-3 drinks to go to sleep at night, or I thought I couldn't fall asleep. And so it's just like, yeah, that's not the example that that's not how I want to be. And
yeah,
so
exactly.
no one's going to do it except for me, to change it.
Exactly. I think it's for me, yeah, exactly. No one's going to do it but you. You got to change it yourself. And I think people need to like come to the realization that, you can be better. Some people, I think they think this is normal. Feeling terrible is normal. And so that's normal. So you have to realize you can be better. And once you realize that, then maybe you start looking for options to be better.
Right. Absolutely. No, I think that's what you just said is very important, because I think that's sort of I don't know if excuse is the right word, but I feel like that is the turning point. It's like if you actually understand that you can be better and you accept that and you want to be, then the opportunities open up for you. But you don't see them. You think they don't exist until you make that decision within yourself.
Exactly. With that, I'm going to talk about my period again because
okay.
I'm going to talk about this whenever I can. Sorry, men. No, but you should listen to it because you got women in your lives. Probably. Okay. Look. 14 years old, 13 or 14, July, August, Chicago. I remember this day like the worst experience of my teenage life. Getting this menstrual cycle. I feel like if I remember how my brain recalls it, is I'm like sweating, I'm shivering. I must look even paler than I do now, like white as a sheet of paper, in so much pain. It didn't, and then just it got progressively worse as I got older. Didn't realize, by the way, that this was not normal. So I didn't look for a way to get better. 18, I went on the pill. 19, 20, something like that. I went on the pill. I'm like, oh, my period's a little bit better. Like, hey, that's cool. But like debilitating. And it's the point that you don't realize that something is not normal. Like you don't realize that this needs to change. This is not correct. Or you think it needs to change, but you're screwed in. Other women can deal with this when you can't. Literally is what I thought in my head for years. How come I have such a low pain threshold? I only bring that up, and I will bring it up all the time because eating this way, I was like, wait a second. You're not supposed to feel any pain? I will say, and I always say that after I had kids, it totally changed. And a nurse told me basically after you have kids, all the stuff that causes that is like cleared out a little bit. But then to experience absolutely like zero pain with a menstrual cycle, that's like crazy to me. Now I get some weird middle of the month like cramps sometimes, but it's almost nothing. And that can make you feel crazy, by the way, also. It's like a total hormone thing will make you feel very bad if your hormones are off. And this way of eating will get your hormones fixed. And I can't stress that enough. But again, it's to the point that if you don't know something can be better and you don't, or you're not looking for it to be better, you're not going to get better. So you have to somehow have that realization that life can be, you can achieve higher states of existence than like sitting on your couch and being miserable, I would like to read some of these comments. Let's see. So Stink Ass Cat, because I asked how his social anxiety was. He says it's 100% better total turnaround on carnivore. I want to say that I must be an extrovert, by the way. I don't really know the difference. I mean, I do know like the word differences and like what it means, but like I thrive just talking to people. That's where I thrive. Yeah. Rambo. I've been doing carnivore with many slips, LOL, for 5 months. The very first time I tried it, the difference was night and day with my pain and anxiety. That's awesome. That's awesome, Rambo. And do the best you can. Just get better and better. Like, don't beat yourself up for your slips. Papa Carnivore. I think I'm not alone when I tell you that I just lost my taste for alcohol after a few months into carnivore. I only drink on special occasions, even though it's 1 or 2 max drinks only. Yeah, I never got into it. I mean, a few times, a few parties, but it wasn't something I did very much. So I understand that I had my own addiction. It was cigarettes. That was me. And still coffee. Let's not talk about that. I'm
Yeah,
so
we can save
happy.
that for another day.
I told Dr. Chafee yesterday that as soon as my bags of coffee are empty, I'm gonna quit. Also, I need to get a teeth whitening and you can't drink coffee for 5 days afterwards. So I think
Ooh,
that's my
yeah, that's a good
breakaway.
motivator. That's
Yeah,
a good motivator.
exactly.
I should do the
Just
same thing.
quit.
Whiten my
They
teeth.
won't let you drink for 5 days. So coffee. Um, Way to go, Rambo. My anxiety and depression went away completely after a few months on keto and now carnivore. I love that. This is great. Like, this is why this like inspires me more than weight loss. Like, I was joking with my husband today. I think I've only lost water weight. Like, I lost like 25, 30 pounds of water, I think. But when you talk to people about their like autoimmune issues regression and their anxiety and depression going away, this is life changing. It's so crazy.
It is, especially if you've been told, you know, like there's nothing else we can do for you, or you're on
Right,
medications and it's not working, and it's like, what,
right.
you've been to therapy for years, and it's like, and those are the things that just like, yeah, chill me to the bone when it's like, and in 2 months it was gone, and it's
Yeah.
so it's absolutely it's absolutely incredible.
It's incredible and it's so simple. And I understand why. Like in our society today, I mean, I would like to hear your opinion on this also. But look, I mean, even right now, we're in front of a computer, but we're like on our phones all the time. We're on our computers. I work from home. I'm in front of the computer so many hours a day. And then we've screwed up our sleep. We've screwed up our food. And now we just feel terrible. And I think that's 100% correlated to our mental health. We're not doing what was like natural to us for thousands of years, being outside, being in the sun, not being in front of the computer screen. But I'm curious, what do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely agree. And this is something I struggle with, especially like thinking about raising children in this world, and how much should I let her be on the screen, and how much should I let her see me be using my phone and with
Mm-hmm.
my earbuds in. And
Yeah.
on the one hand, this is the world we live in. This is where, I'm super grateful that I can do something like this with you, and I can work from home, and I can have this
Right.
as a side gig, and still
Right.
be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's absolutely fantastic. And I love the fact that anybody can have a voice with social media. Like, anybody
Sure.
from anywhere in the world can just pick up their phone and reach millions of people. So that on the one hand is super empowering, and I think that is a force for good. But
Right.
it's not what our genes are adapted to. It's not what our bodies expect. It's
Right.
not, especially late at night, not like it's not something that we even understand the ramifications of,
Right.
especially for our little ones growing up. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird place to be. And for those of us that are into this, like biohacking and figuring out our health from a natural standpoint, it can be a tricky balance sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I want to be on the computer and I want to talk to people, but
Yeah.
how much do I really want them watching the content? Like, of course, I need the message to get out, but then in my mind, I'm also like, okay, I don't also want people just to watch YouTube full time, even though I
Right.
really want them to watch my content. But, so I totally understand. It's like the world that we live in right now. Um, Side note, we have like a projector, and somehow that does something different to receiving images on your face. By the way, I'm trying to say, like, for
Oh,
your kids, we have a projector and it projects on the screen, and that does something different to your eyes than like a TV screen, by the way.
okay, so we have one, but it's not like old school where it's like it's like a
No, it's like hanging
a
on the wall, right?
digital
Yeah, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but you Bluetooth it to your phone, and then we just put it on the wall
Oh, we have
and
the
watch
Fire Stick.
movies.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we
Okay,
do.
is that
And
the
somehow,
oh,
yeah,
so
it's
that's
basically the
better?
same thing. Yeah, that's better. I
Okay,
don't
good.
know. My husband did all this research, and that's better to do that, like with how like the rays of light affect your eyes when you do it that way.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
sorry, I'm not a
interesting.
scientist.
No, but I never thought about that at all, and that's like, we don't have a TV right now in our
Oh, great.
house. We just put that in the bedroom when we all wanna, like, lay on the bed and watch a movie, and then we just
Right.
use the projector. So, oh,
Awesome.
cool. See, I didn't even
Yeah.
know that.
Because like there's no radiation coming off of your wall from the
That makes sense.
Yeah, or
That's
whatever,
super
light
cool.
rays. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Y'all learned something new today.
That's awesome.
Let's see. I want to make sure I get all this stuff. Okay, Rambo, I feel that, Nia. I never used to drink, but for some reason last year I've leaned on a few drinks here and there when things got tricky. Yeah. Like when my grandmother died, I was like a weekend alcoholic. I became an alcoholic for a weekend. I drank a lot. Like you do when
Yeah.
sometimes it's like a solution, but it's not the solution.
Mhm.
Rambo. Oh, this is an internal conversation, but let's read it. I fell into carb ditch, as Dr. Wiedemann calls it, several times over the past 510 days. We are all human. It's about getting right back on the wagon the very next meal. Sure, totally, absolutely. That's very good advice. Here's a question for you or us. Stink ass cat. Question about the brain fog. Did you all of a sudden start remembering things from your past vividly? I ask because I'm 54 and I had literally a decade of fog from 30s to 40s.
I personally, I don't think that I have remembered anything. I do notice though where I have like major periods of my teens and 20s that I don't remember very much of.
Mm,
I don't know if that's from brain fog or if it's, I mean, obviously I was drinking a lot, so there's like periods that I
sure.
don't remember because of that specifically, but it's like, you know, there, it's like if I think about, oh, when I was 23, it's like takes me a long time to be like, okay, where did I live? Like, where was I? Who was around? Like, I don't know. I think I just had like extreme brain fog, and I don't know if those memories will all ever come back or not. But that's interesting that you did. I do have things come up in dreams though, which I think is really interesting sometimes.
That's very interesting. I've always had crazy dreams. So, for me, since eating this way, some nights it's just black and I'm like, oh my gosh, calm sleep. Not like
Yeah.
vivid dreams, like the opposite.
Yeah, it's like keep you basically awake.
Yeah. Oh man. Or the dream where you're like, okay, all right, the planet's still here. Okay, go back to
Yeah.
sleep. Rambo, Papa Carnivore, absolutely agree. It's about getting back up when we slip and not giving up. That's truly the catalyst for change. Perseverance. Sure. What is it? No, that's patience. Do you know semi-retired Bob?
I've subscribed to his channel, but I don't
Okay.
like really know him.
Okay. I've talked to him several times actually. But he talks about vitamin P, but perseverance could also be
Yeah.
vitamin P. His is vitamin patience. Started keto on 2/1/2023. Turned a few months later, went to keto. Now I'm 95% carnivore. Still love my fatty coffee in the morning with, what is that? GF butter? Oh, grass-fed butter and heavy cream. All right. There you go. I like my black coffee. Side note, coffee in Colombia is way better than coffee in the US for obvious
I
reasons.
bet it is. I bet it is. Yeah, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, but that's okay. Don't drink it. Yeah, 2 bags left. I think I'm down to 2 bags. They're from my neighbor. Her parents have a coffee farm. Okay.
Well, have you like switched to decaf yet, or are you still drinking full strength
I'm still
caffeine?
full strength
Okay.
caffeine for sure.
Maybe mix because that's what I did. I slowly mixed decaf grounds in over like 2 months and
Mm,
whittled down to decaf only, and then I
yeah.
dropped it. And now
Oh,
I'm back on decaf. But because like
okay.
it might suck if you just
You
abruptly
quit
stop
cold turkey. Oh
caffeine.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It
I do that
might.
those 5 days. I got the 5 days that I can't drink any coffee or even decaf or anything.
Well,
So
that's true. That's true.
yeah.
So
But I
I guess
might
you
I might do that. So my consideration on the decaf is that the chemicals they use to decaffeinate are way worse than the coffee. But still, to get the caffeine out,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Rambo, I've definitely gotten stronger each time I've slipped. Haha, each time we fail is an opportunity to learn from said experience. Sure, sure. I never think of it as slipping because I intentionally will eat something off and not be like it's a slip. No, I did it. I did it on purpose. But then I feel the aftermath and like, oh, why did I do this again? So funny thing
Yeah.
is, like, I tell people, like, I can drink coffee and I sleep fine, but if I eat my disastrous popcorn, I will ruin my sleep, and that's very funny for me.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's the carbohydrates messing with my gut.
Yep. I believe it.
Papa Carnivore. It's all learning. It's all learning opportunity when you slip up. Every time it happened, it felt like total crap. Headache, stomachache, yeah, joint pain, anxiety, back. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but it sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
No, it is.
It was the only way I had enough energy to hold down a job. Oh, I missed his earlier comment saying I survived a lot of years by self-medicating with Red Bull. Ugh, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. No,
Oh, yeah. I used to drink those sugar-free ones because I thought they
yeah,
were healthier.
right.
Um, all that, yeah, I'd drink like 3 or 4 of those a shift
Oh wow. Oh
usually.
wow. I just drank a bunch of Monsters once when they were like first popular in like 2004 because I was getting like free. I was on the streets of San Francisco and this guy kept handing them out, so I was like sipping on them all day. I literally vomited foam, like projectile vomited foam. I'm like, I will never drink and enter this type again. I've had sips of other stuff, but still.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I love my fatty latte fat boats. I don't know what that means. I think my OCD can be intense when it comes to all or nothing, which has led to my past slip, striving for consistency, not perfection. Yeah, consistency. Exactly.
That's
Um,
very interesting, with the sort of abstaining versus moderating approach. Um,
right,
I hear about so many abstainers where it's like, "I can't touch it, period," you know?
right.
But if I'm interpreting that right, that's almost the opposite, right? Where if you get too far into, like, never, all or nothing, then it sort of trips you up. I feel like that happens to me sometimes too.
Sure, sure. I mean, sure, I feel the same way. If you say you can't have something so many times, it's just gonna. I think it messes with you. Also, I think I've heard like the advice like don't have it in your house, but if you want it, like make yourself walk to the store that's like a mile away and go and get it. And then you'll be like, do I want to walk? Do I really want it that badly? But at least you give yourself the option. You're not saying no like
Mhm.
100% of the time. But for sure, like there's no junk food in my house. Like, don't also torture yourself. Don't have this
No.
stuff in your
No, I'm the
house.
same way. Like, I do not
Yeah,
allow it in the house. Like, I'm the only really strict carnivore in the house. Like, I feed my
sure.
daughter 80-90% carnivore, and then we have, like, fruit, and she likes
Right.
onions, but, like, Ben's not carnivore. He eats a lot of meat, and I basically
Okay.
feed him carnivore meals when he's here. Um, but yeah, I don't allow like, at first I was like, "Oh, you guys can get chips or
Sure.
whatever if you want," but now it's like, "No. Get it out of
Yeah.
here." But
Get
if
it
we're
out.
out to eat or they go out, like, him and her go out to the little coffee shop or whatever, it's like she can get something as long as it has no seed oils in it.
Oh,
Um
that's very hard. That's very hard anywhere you go.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm
To
always like,
try.
"Don't give her anything with seed oils."
Yeah, I
Um,
understand. No, when we go out, and then I'm even worse because my kids are like, I want KFC. Okay. Yes, there's KFC in Colombia. Okay, that they can have the KFC. But for sure it's in seed oil, so I should probably rethink that. But if you ask my son, sometimes they talk about what's nutritious, and my kids talk about what's like nutritious food, and they sometimes they give good answers to that, and they know that sugar is not good, so at least I'm doing something right. And by the way,
mhm.
like my daughter, she likes coleslaw. I think she likes the sweetness and the mayonnaise more than probably the cabbage, but so
Yeah.
sometimes she gets that. But my son never really liked vegetables, my son, so I'm glad that I don't have to force them.
Me too, me
Yeah,
too. It's a lot easier, when
yeah,
you when you don't have to do that, yeah.
yeah, and you can just feed them stuff like there. So I'll just explain our setup, and I have a couple times, but I live on the same property with in the same lot, two different houses with my mother-in-law, which is great
Okay.
because you get the help of your mother-in-law, but you're not living in the same house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, at her house, she has all the fruit that we buy for the kids. So if they want fruit, they have to like go down to her house. They have to like walk down
Mhm.
the stairs and like go get the fruit or get her to cut the fruit or something. But by the way, fruit is not even a problem for me. Like, it's not something I would even eat if it was in the house because
Mhm.
I don't really like it. Maybe plantains, but so that's the point. It's like keep it away from you. Keep it away from you. But I'm not.
Yes.
My kids eat a lot of meat, and I love that, and they love eggs, and my daughter likes salmon, and those are all very good things to like get them started young. But again, I don't say
Mhm.
no when we go out to eat, and they can realize their own realizations about nutrition with a good foundation.
Right. Right.
Sorry. Let's see, where were we? This says, pick and eat the foods you love to eat and make sure you're not hungry. I watched an interview with Sean Baker today. He said, you have to. Oh, you have to have the diet sustainable. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you then. What are the foods that you eat that make this sustainable for you?
I like just a variety of carnivore foods, and I've been wanting to do the lion diet, thinking like, okay, that's gonna just nix the last of my inflammation. The stricter I get, the cleaner I get, the faster I will, finish up healing. But I just always get cravings for like other
Mm,
meats or eggs or something like that while I'm on it. And so
yeah.
I've done it twice, and first time I craved seafood, even though I was taking iodine and, you know, all this, I was taking electrolytes and all this other stuff. And the second time I was looking at egg yolks and I like couldn't get them out of my mind, and chicken, and so it's like I just eat whatever I crave, and sometimes it's chicken thighs, sometimes it's like baby back ribs that I do in my air fryer, well, slow cooker and then in the air fryer, but I eat a lot of ground
Mhm.
beef because I prefer it to steak. I honestly, this is super weird, but I don't even really enjoy eating steak. I don't
Okay.
know why. It's just maybe I just haven't figured out how to cook it exactly the way I like it, but Ben loves it. Like I buy him ribeyes all the time when they're on sale, and then I either cut a whole one or whatever, and I make him a steak every night pretty much. But I'm super happy with like burgers with bacon or just plain ground beef. Or I'll get a craving for shrimp, so I'll eat some of that sometimes.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
nice.
but I can really just go with like beef and butter for several days, and then I'll want some chicken, or I might want some pork or something like that. Um, and I don't do any egg whites right now because I do think those flare up my skin, but I
Mm,
seem to tolerate the yolks just fine. So that is something I do try to see like, okay, is this affecting me or not? And I really limit the dairy
okay.
almost zero. Every once in a while, I'll have a little cheese or a little cream, heavy cream or something like that. But I really try to minimize the dairy as much as possible.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm working on that one also. I try to
It's
minimize
so
it, but
good, and
it's so good. Cheese is so good.
Mhm.
Um, and I like a lot of what you're saying. I am really weird. I love chicken liver. I feel like it tastes so
Really?
good to me. Oh man, it's like amazing. But I eat a lot of ground beef. So we have a butcher. And if you can find a butcher and actually like learn the parts of the cow, that's awesome. So my husband found this part of the cow, which I only found out what it was, and it's the armpit. It's called sobaco. And it's like this part of the cow. And it's
Oh,
really, you get it ground up. It doesn't smell like body odor, don't worry. And it's like it's so good for like burger meat, but I don't think it has enough fat. So then today, sacrilegious, I got ground brisket. So I'm gonna try making hamburger meat out of that. So like burgers, but I like the burgers, the beef,
Mhm.
eggs, soft boiled eggs in the Instapot are amazing. But I can do the whole egg, and I'm really curious if that's because I think the food quality in South America is better than the U.S. I don't know if I'd be able to. What would happen if I was trying this there? And yeah,
Yeah,
chicken
that'd be
livers.
interesting.
Yeah, and sometimes I eat fish. I don't like it so much, but I will eat it. Like sometimes, like you said, I'll get a craving for salmon. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Then 3 bites later, I'm like, not so awesome. But I'll finish
Mhm.
eating it. Um, so that's what I'm on right now. What I'm how I'm eating sort of right now. Stink ass cat. Money grubbing, sleep apnea doctors are what finally drove me to finally take things in my own hands and responsibility for my own health. Looking back, it was pure insanity. Sure. Yeah, I understand. I think that there are a lot of very, very good doctors. And I think that, and then there might be some that are not so good. But I think the generality is they're good, but they're not like educated because they haven't been, unfortunately, correctly educated. I think if we had like more Chafees, Berries, Dr. Berg, Ovadias, if we have more and more of those, we're going to see a resurgence in health. But it's sad that however they've been educated. I don't know if it's because I've heard somebody say it's because big pharma. I don't know. I don't totally follow all the conspiracy theorists, but it's obvious. It's obvious that we have declining health and we don't have enough correctly educated people. Because look at me and you, we're just like two random girls, two random chicks talking about how we healed our body through like eating meat. Like that's crazy.
Right. No, I have a tinfoil hat in my closet and I try to leave it in there most of the time. But then as soon as I think about throwing it away, I hear something and I'm like, no, I'm keeping that thing because it always turns out to be the truth, basically.
Right.
And yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily like everybody who works in pharmaceutical companies are in on it, you know what I mean? Or like
Right.
everyone who's a doctor or a nurse is in on this conspiracy. It's like that's not what I think at all. I
Right.
think that through a series of that there's been religious input through the Dietetics Association, through the Seventh Day Adventist Church. There's been the whole Ansel Keys thing, with which is more of like the corporate battle between big sugar
Right.
and so it's like there have been several different things that have positioned our government to say, well, yep, this is how we're going to tell everybody to eat, and then everybody has a role in that. And so
Mm-hmm.
now we're
Yeah.
here and nobody wants to backpedal and say, "Oh, we screwed up," because
Right.
then they would lose money, and so like nobody's going to admit any fault or any, you know, admit that there was a part of this that could have been avoided. And
Right.
now we're here and we all kind of have to go rogue essentially and fix it ourselves.
Yeah, totally grassroots. I like that. Go rogue. Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, everyone should actually watch the movie called Pain Hustlers on Netflix. It's loosely based on a true story of like paying off doctors to like basically be drug pushers for fentanyl. It's very interesting. So you should watch that. And it's on Netflix, so we can take off our tin hats.
Yeah.
um, Papa Carnivore, also particularly for folks like me who suffer with depression, anxiety, ADHD, etc. Keep the high fat 70-80% works best for me. Feeds and nourishes the brain. Great advice. Thank you so much. Rambo, coffee slave.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a tough one for sure.
Oh man, I've been drinking coffee since I was 16 or 17. So like 23 years of coffee, 24 years. Let's see. Oh, I try to skip over like the internal conversations. It's a huge cumulative effect. I've noticed circadian rhythm, sleep, blue light, environmental toxins exposure. It's about back to basics. Hey, yeah, exactly. I am so lucky. I literally live in the mountains, and I'm talking to you. So at least I have internet and running water and
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah.
Actually, my husband, he's on a bicycle generating the electricity behind the wall. No, I'm just joking. No,
Well, I was like, really? That's so cool.
no, he's not.
I've
It's
literally
so
thought about like doing something like that. Okay.
No, we're like civilized, but I get to be in the mountains, and like there's like a 2-mile trek up the mountains that we went on a couple weeks ago with the kids, and it's just so nice to be in nature. It's actually also like, unfortunately, our rabbit died today. My sister-in-law's dog hunted it and killed it and
Oh
didn't eat it.
no.
But
Oh, that's
but
great. Yeah.
it's very sad. But we had a rabbit and we had a chicken, and just to like sit down, and watch your rabbit and chicken is even just calming. Like it's like these little stupid things, like going back to nature.
No, it is. And like that is so, again, kind of like drawing the line to kids.
Yeah.
I was watching my daughter play the other day, and it's like, the old saying, it's like you get them all these toys and then they play with the box, right? And it's like
Right.
you just watch how you don't even need to give a kid all this stuff,
Right.
to teach her or entertain her. It's like she'll sit here and mess with something that's like not a kid toy, and like be looking at it
Right.
and figuring it out and like thinking about it. It's like she's learning all on her own, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it is more about the basics than we realize in a lot of
It
cases.
is. It's funny. I just want to say, yesterday, me and my kids, there's like a field over here, and we were literally making mud pies yesterday, and it's
Yeah.
great. Like,
Like how
great,
much more simple, and it's so fun, and
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then
building their
Jacob's
immune
just,
system on the side, you know?
yeah, building mine also.
Yeah.
As we're getting eaten by the mosquitoes. No.
Yeah.
um, oh, okay. So we got about 10 minutes left. Let's try to finish. I'm going to do my hardest to try to get through these comments so I don't leave anybody out. Rambo, I've also lessened my stress load. I've homeschooled my 3 kids, 2 neurodivergent for 5.5 years. Sending them back to school, as hard as that's been, has helped. Okay, yeah, I understand. Speaking of which, I will have an interview. I spoke to a 17-year-old boy. I don't, correct me if I'm being politically incorrect. And it should be on my channel in a couple days. And he is a high functioning autistic boy. Does that sound correct? Did I say it the right way? Anyways, totally cool kid. Said that being on a keto diet improved his quality of life by 7 times. So that was his assessment of the situation. And he lost a lot of weight. He said it helped him with his ability to communicate and his ability to think. So now that you've mentioned that, I just thought I would bring that up. And hopefully I will have that up tomorrow if I have time to edit it and get it up. Totally nice, charming young boy. 17. Can you call a 17-year-old a young boy? I guess if we're in your like late 30s or your 40s. I learned about carnivore in 2020, watched thousands of videos, and started in 2022, almost 2 years strict carnivore. That's awesome. That is awesome. Do you have a channel, by the way? Stink ass cat. I'm going to just keep saying that because I could get away with saying ass in the middle of my live stream and no one can stop me. Here we go. I saw Carnivore Brothers. Hello. I saw your interview with Dr. Chafee this morning and now feel like I need to get rid of coffee. Not sure I'm happy about that. Yeah, me too. That was my conclusion after that whole hour and a half was that I needed to stop drinking coffee. And now Nia's just helped me even more with the decaf idea. Nia, how's your road trip? Did you prepare and bring carnivore snacks and or foods with you?
Yeah, I did. It's good. Just a little day trip to visit some family. And so I made like a big container of bacon. I scrambled eggs for I did some yolks for myself and some scrambled eggs in bacon grease for the others. Um and I brought a bag of raw ground beef to cook.
Oh wow.
But thankfully food had been prepared for us. Some pot roast and some things. So I got to eat, meat when I got here. But yeah, I packed that, and what else? I think that was it. Yep, eggs, bacon. Oh, some steak bites too, because we had one steak in the fridge.
Nice. Sounds fun. Where did you go, by the way? Can I ask?
We're in Louisiana, just
okay.
a few hours. Yep,
Okay.
just a few hours away.
Nice. I want to hear. So the boy that I talked to, this is the mama, Rebecca, and she's got a YouTube channel also, and she says
okay.
high functioning autism. Okay, good, great. I want to just say my terms correctly. I try to be politically correct in front of people. I like this question. What is the first step to stopping addiction in your opinion? I think that's opinion.
I think the first step is being 100% honest with yourself that it is an addiction. I don't think if somebody tells you you have an addiction, that counts. I don't think if somebody sits you down and says, I love you, this is a problem, like you have to 100% be like, look in the mirror and say, Nia, you have a problem with this, and 100% accept that. Because kind of like you were mentioning in the beginning, we don't even see the opportunities to change. We don't even really notice what's available to us. The information, we don't even see the information. Like we're not looking for it unless we are 100% all in. Now that doesn't mean that you won't ever slip up or, you're going to be 100% perfect from there on out. But it's a switch that just has to go off for you. And it has to be like, and then people say your why has to be big enough. I think that is the outcome of the complete acceptance that this is not working for me, and I have to change.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that. But yeah, you have to know you have to change. You have to get to that point and then decide and then just do what you say you're going to do because you succeed when you do what you say you're going to do. Like
Mhm.
work towards
And
that.
I think this like the support will just come. You know, again,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm a firm believer that when you fully decide and commit to something, whether you believe in God or the universe or a higher whatever, like I believe that like the forces come together to support you in that. And so, you know, you'll find the support you need. You'll find the information you
Mm-hmm.
need. You'll find the place you need to go to get help, like whatever it is. Things will just start to take place and it'll feel almost magical because you decided, you know, and you
Yeah.
committed.
Exactly. And I'll just say step 2 though is get the whatever your addiction is out of like get it out of your space, out of sight, out of mind. Don't have it
Mhm.
like accessible. That's always decide and then don't have it around. Don't torture yourself. If you're
Right.
addicted, I'm not gonna say bad things. If you're addicted to chocolate and you're like, I'm not gonna eat chocolate, but it's like sitting right here next to you, you're of course you're gonna eat it. You have to have a period.
Yeah, I did kind of like what you're doing with coffee. I had a bottle of vodka in my house and I was like, okay, when this bottle's gone, I'm not buying anymore.
Mm, yeah,
So then I didn't like
exactly.
have a half a bottle sitting back there talking to me at night, you know, it's like and so then I kind of prepare, you know, I like tried to drink as little as possible, like, okay, when this is gone,
Mm-hmm.
like no
Mm-hmm.
more. And so
Sure.
it allowed me to sort of wean down a little bit and then it was like, nope, we're done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I will say I had like a 2 week stint on Vicodin for a tooth thing, and I did having literally never even smoked weed in my entire life. Like I said, I was a cigarette smoker. Never really was a drinker. I understood in very rapidly how people could get so addicted to like medications and like painkillers
Oh
and just
yeah.
drugs. Like that was
Yep.
crazy. Like my experience on it, and I had to like wean myself off of it. Like that, like and I did something similar. Like I actually slept with the Vicodin right here. Like that's how crazy I became with it. And I was only on it because like of a tooth
Of
situation.
a legitimate thing. No, and
Like,
it's yep, I've been through the same thing.
oh man. And I literally,
And it
okay, so
is
today
yeah.
the 2 pills, I'll do 1.5. And then the next day I'll do one. And then the next day I'll do half and then a quarter. And I literally was like moving the Vicodin bottle down my bed and then I put it in the closet. And that was like a several day process. And I'm like, okay, this is me actually thinking like clearly and analytically, even knowing like in 12 days what this did to me, or 2 weeks what this did in 24 hours what it did to me, like my attachment to something. Or do you get what I'm trying to say? So I understand like how crazy addictions can be. And what's funny
Mhm.
is like I'm talking about coffee. Coffee is so much worse for me, or sugar, or French fries. Like I knew in my mind drugs are very bad, but it's okay that I do the sugar. It's okay that I eat the French fries. Like you get some sort of dopamine reaction when you eat that crap. And again, back to like you
Agree.
have to decide to change. Like going this way is not working. Something has to change.
Mhm.
I will say, I also when I started carnivore, I was like, this is going to work. Like I also made that decision. Like I decided like nothing else has worked. This has to work. This is going to work. And I said that to myself. So I think it's like you have to say the things that you want to accomplish for the positive, also not just I can't have, my chocolate.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's see. 2 minutes, people. 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes left. Uh, the new the new Wavius. Oh, the new Wave Us. Great, that sounds better. Drop the coffee 5 weeks ago. The poos are now incredible and they're incredible now. Did it take 5 weeks to become incredible? Okay, and sleep in less than 10 minutes. That's awesome. I love that. Sleep is so important.
Mhm.
Also important for mental health. Something that gets pushed aside. Oh, before I read this, I want your opinion on you only live once. I hate when people say that. Like I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Or do
Okay.
you want a little more context? Like you only live once, so just be as terrible to yourself as humanly possible because you
No, yeah,
only
I
live
don't
once.
I don't think in the way that it's generally portrayed today that I don't agree with it for the most part. I
Okay.
think it's just it's almost an excuse to not think about the future and to not
Right.
plan ahead and make good decisions. It's like, because I could die tomorrow. It's like, yeah, any of us could, but you probably won't, And so maybe don't, spend all your money on whatever it is today, or, maybe don't do that thing.
Yeah.
Um, but but there's always two sides to everything. It's like
Sure.
sometimes you should jump on an opportunity when it does present itself instead of being
Sure.
afraid or, saying,
Right.
"Oh, so but in general, I just as it is, I don't that wouldn't be my first go-to saying, I guess,
Yeah,
or
because
anything.
I was thinking of a girl that I hung out with one day, and she's like, "Well, I don't like sleep because you only live once, so I try to sleep as least amount as possible." I'm like, thinking in my
Right.
mind, that can't be good for your mental health, and also you have like, what's it called? What's that thing when they can't like tell what's wrong with you and your body's always in pain? They call it something specific, but it means they can't figure it out.
Idiopathic?
No, like actual physical pain in your body. There's a
Oh.
like a but they don't know what it is, so they call it something very specific.
Oh.
Somebody in the chat help me out with this. Okay. It's like, I think it's like autoimmune, but your whole body's in pain and like your body will like freeze up. Anyways, I was just thinking, she said that she has this like issue with her body, but she doesn't want to sleep because you only live once. So anyways, I think, yeah, but I agree. Yeah, jump on opportunities that present themselves and don't like wait
Mhm.
for life to pass you by. Create your life for sure.
Yeah.
Rebecca, first step is admitting you have a problem. The 12-step program is pretty accurate for most things. There we go.
Mhm.
Okay, here's what he says. Carne vide. That's beautiful. Yes, thank you. Needing to admit and quit for ourselves. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Um, he says, or she says, I find it harder to connect with non-carnivores humans, non-carnivore humans within recovery. I can, but carnivore part is a large part of my healing and repairing. So I want to find a good balance of the connection. I think I understand that. Find us here. We're all here.
Mhm.
We're all here on.
Yeah, I think I saw some other comments going by about, finding support
Mm-hmm.
or connection with other people, and I think, yeah, this is a great community for that because everybody's super supportive and helpful and non-judgmental, in my opinion, for the most
Right.
part.
Yeah, I think for the most part. Fibromyalgia. Thank you, people. That was the word I could not think of. Oh,
Oh, okay. I was kinda thinking that, but then I was like, that's sort of like a official diagnosis, but okay.
I know. I
Yeah,
think it
it's sort
is
of like, we
official
don't know what
diagnosis.
you have fibromyalgia, like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, that one, that one. So, anyways, there you go. Greetings from Alaska. Stop again and say hi and hit the like button. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love that. I love that. I love that. Awesome. Okay, cool. So it's been an hour, and I know you have children, and I have children. But is there any last words you'd like to say before we say good night?
Um, no, I mean, this has been really good, and I've enjoyed meeting you and talking about this. I think
Yeah.
this is such an important topic because, um, like we've covered, there's on the one hand, like you don't always know how things are impacting you until you get to the other side and you get that sense of
Mm-hmm.
clarity and you get, the other side of what you can feel. And so I would just encourage, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody watching right now has already sort
Sure.
of experienced that, right? But um it's just important that we all keep living by example as best we can. I know a lot of us have loved ones or people that, or just in general, it's like we want to spread this message. And so just continuing to go forth with that and staying in community is amazing. And I'm super grateful to be a part of this community and continue to meet more awesome people like you that I can connect with
Aw.
and feel supported by. So yeah, and thanks everybody in the chat. You guys have all been great.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you for me being here. I'm really happy we got to talk. I've wanted to, like I said, want to talk for like a year. So it's funny that I said it took me so long to shoot you that
Yeah.
email. But
Well, it took us a while to nail down a time too. So, because
yeah,
I
that's
didn't
true.
realize you were in, well, what time zone?
I'm in Central Time. And
Oh,
right now,
okay. So we're actually in the same time zone. Okay.
yeah, half the year, because the time zone doesn't change, half the year I'm on Eastern right now, I'm on Central.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it
Cool.
seems like
No,
I'm
yeah,
really
I'm so
far
glad we did
away.
this.
Yeah, me too. By the way, I'm only like 3 hours away from Tampa, Florida. So it's not, it seems like a world away, but I'm kind of
It
close.
does. Yeah.
It's like from North Texas to Houston in a
True.
car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Texas
there
is
you
huge.
go. Texas is huge. All right. I will pop this little comment up. Thanks for the live, ladies. Heart legends. Oh, you're so sweet. Catch you next time, all the way in Australia. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Rambo. Love that. And Nia, once again, thank you so much. I'm so happy we did this. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.